Now in the last video we left off here where we said we're going to now consider what kind of predictions this model will make if we have a shift or a change in the demand or supply curve. So let's take a look here at the market for laptops. The market is currently in equilibrium, but notice up at the top we have some event that has happened. In particular, the price of computer chips have fallen. Now, computer chips and laptops are related because computer chips are one of the inputs that goes into making a laptop. So with the decrease in the price of computer chips, there's going to be an increase in the supply curve. The supply curve shifts to the right. Now let's carefully watch and see how the market adjusts to the new equilibrium. At the original market price, we currently have a surplus. As you can see, at the original price of PA, the quantity supplied, which is QB, exceeds the quantity demanded of QA. So with that surplus, remember what happens. The firms will start to compete against each other by lowering their prices. As the price falls, the quantity supplied decreases, and as the price falls, the quantity demanded increases. So notice you had those movements along the supply and the demand curves until we get to a price where at this new price of PB, the quantity demanded is equal to the quantity supplied. So in summary, when you have this increase in supply, it's going to create a temporary surplus. Market forces will drive the price down. And when we compare this outcome to the original equilibrium, we see that the market price has fallen and that the equilibrium quantity has increased. And now you should be able to read this graph in the opposite way too. If there had been a decrease in supply, then you would have an increase in the equilibrium price as well as a decrease in the equilibrium quantity. Now let's look at the market for software. Currently, again, starting at a point where we are in equilibrium, and we're going to analyze the effect of a decrease in the price of laptops. These two markets are related. When the price of a laptop decreases, it's going to affect the market for software because the laptops and the software are complements. So remember, when the price of a complement falls, demand for the software will increase. So the demand will shift out to the right. And let's analyze how we get to the new equilibrium. At the original price, we're going to have a shortage. The original price, the quantity demanded exceeds the quantity supplied, and that's showed as that segment, line segment, QA, QB. With the shortage, it's the buyers who start to compete against each other, driving prices up. As the price rises, you move along the demand curve. The quantity demanded will decrease as the price increases, and as the price increases, the quantity supplied will increase until we get to our new equilibrium. At this new equilibrium price, we see relative to the original price, the new price is higher, and relative to the old equilibrium quantity, the equilibrium quantity is higher. So in summary, the increase in demand causes this shortage at the original price. Competition drives the prices up until we eventually reach a new equilibrium price, which is higher than the original price, and we reach a new equilibrium quantity, which is greater than the original equilibrium quantity. Now, one thing I didn't talk about before is that this market shows us not only what the price and the quantity will be, but it also lets you know that not everybody is going to be able to buy and sell the product. And if we just focus on the new equilibrium here, at this new equilibrium we see that only those buyers who are willing to pay at least PB, this new equilibrium price, they're going to be the ones who get the product. Any buyer who puts a value on software that is less than PB will not be able to get the software. We can do a similar analysis with the suppliers. The people who would be predicted to provide this product would be those sellers who are willing to sell at a price less than PB. There's going to be other sellers out there that they'd be willing to sell, but they're not going to be able to sell in this market. The reason being the minimum amount that they are willing to sell for exceeds PB. As you can see, in the mid-70s to the early 80s, oil prices spiked. The primary reason why oil prices increased during this time is because of supply side shocks. You had a war going on in Israel, you had the Iranian Revolution, you had the Iran and the Iraq wars just beginning. There's a lot of disturbance in the supply lines of oil over there in the Middle East. All this decreasing the number of producers in the market, shifting that supply curve to the left, and ultimately driving market prices up. And then if you take a look over around 1997, 1998, you had a major financial crisis in Asia. And during that financial crisis, basically what you had was a serious shock to demand. A lot of people's incomes were falling during this time period, which is going to drive down the demand. And finally, what's explaining the increase in the price of oil from about the late 90s up through today? A lot of that was caused by growth in China and India. As these economies grew and they became wealthier, the result was an increase in demand. Oil being a normal good, as demand increases, the price of oil rises. So in this particular video, we saw how you can use the model to explain prices. In the next video, we'll talk about the efficiency of the model.